Hi guys, this is the biggest smile you'll ever see on someone when they're talking about cancer. Okay, let's talk about cancer. You know what, when life hits you with 2 cancers in a family member and then they beat it, you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Like, what just happened? If you're new to my little channel, or maybe you didn't know, or maybe I just did a really good job at hiding it in the last year, my mom had 2 cancers and she beat them. Woo! Lately, something that I've been doing is text my friends whenever I get like bad news or something and I want them to know, except I send it with the confetti so that it makes them easier to digest. I don't know, that works for me at least. I briefly talked about it on my channel, on my podcast in the last year. I didn't really make it very, very public because cancer is fucking tough to deal with, and I did not want to succumb my entire family to thousands of people knowing what's going on with my mom. And so I kind of just gave the bare minimum, but I never really went into it. So this is a tell-all. This is my little tell-all story. I don't want this to be a sad video because I'm genuinely so much happier and in a better place now than I fucking was a year ago. However, I do get a lot of messages, not for me to be like, I get so many messages, but I get a lot of messages of people being like, Nicole, my family just got diagnosed with cancer. Nicole, how did you cope with this? Nicole, my friend's family has cancer. How do I talk to them? How do I help? And I just can't simply respond to every single message because everyone's situation is so different. My family has been incredibly lucky and blessed, whatever you want to say, and not everyone's situation is like that. So it's not easy for me, and I don't want to give back a generic answer and be like, just stay strong, just keep girl bossing it through cancer. No, you can't do that. But I also want people to thoroughly know my situation, what actually helped me as someone who is a daughter of someone who had cancer, someone who was a caretaker for them, and literally how I'm affected now a year later. Put timestamps, I'll put little chapters in case you want to fast forward. So, on the topic of cancer, make sure that you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. Let me give you a brief rundown. May of 2020, my mom was diagnosed with endometrial cancer. You know how they say like you'll always remember where you were when something really significant happened to you in your life? I was in the basement of my high school in the art room when I found out Prince died. I was in the library of my college when I found out that Kobe Bryant died. And I was in my bedroom editing and uploading TikTok made me eat oranges in the shower video when I found out that my mom had cancer. I get it. I do get it. And you know what, this is not an example of girl bossing it, this is an example of anxiety and fearing that everything that I worked for will just disappear. I still continued to edit and upload the video right after I found out because I was scared that if I didn't hit my upload that week that something really bad would happen to me. Anyway, I'm in therapy now, we'll get into that. I found out that my mom had endometrial cancer and it literally felt like everything in my entire life just stopped. Everything around me, it just felt like it was like all falling apart. I have really, really bad anxiety, so I always have a feeling of impending doom and I always have a fear that something bad will happen to my family. And so then when something really does happen, it just makes it 10 times worse. Not to mention that this was the beginning of the pandemic. I was in college. I just became a full-time YouTuber. I started a podcast. I had to do my internship to graduate. I was dealing with severe anxiety because of the pandemic and other things. And now I'm becoming a caregiver. And I thought that I could wear all these little cute tiny hats like, ooh, look at me, I'm a YouTuber and I'm a college student and I'm also helping my mom through cancer. Like, I am so busy. And I remember thinking a lot to myself, Nicole, you are so incredibly lucky and the universe works in crazy ways. The fact that you were able to stay home and work your job from home to help take care of your family now during this time. You have a job that's paying well while your family can't work because of the pandemic. It's about to be summer vacation, so you're not gonna be full-time in college, you're just taking a few summer classes. I was supposed to go to LA to be Mr. Cody Co's production assistant. I have a whole video about that. But anyway, but I didn't get the job and I was living at home. Obviously, there's no good time to get cancer. Like, I never ever recommend getting cancer, like, at any time. But if I was gonna be home and under all these circumstances, it seemed like the right time. That's not what I mean, but you know what I mean. However, I decided to hide this part of my life completely because, quite frankly, it is no one's business. It's my family's business, and I wasn't going to just air that all out, especially when we were in the beginning stages of it. However, miraculously, we found out that it was such an early stage of cancer. It was going to be such an easy procedure. Everything was gonna be okay very, very quickly. Until the doctor was like, well, we have to do a mammogram because that's just like routine for when you have this type of cancer. I remember my mom coming home. We're so happy, we're so thrilled that you know, this cancer is gonna be eradicated in a few weeks. Everything is gonna be okay again, even better than it was before, perhaps. And then we get a call that she needs to come back to where she got her mammogram done because they found something. Ah! Wow, that was an awful feeling. Okay, we wait a few more days and then we get another call that she has breast cancer and it should be easy. It's gonna be okay. It's probably a really early stage. Everything's gonna be all right. I tried being there for my mom as much as possible, but if I'm gonna be honest, I just remember shutting down a lot. And my dear mom, who you guys have seen on my channel from time to time, she is such an extra woman. The type of extra woman that when I say, no mom, I only want 6 pierogi on my plate, she'll give me 12. And she's so extra that instead of having 1 cancer, she just had to have 2. She's just that extra of a woman. My mom is great, and if there was anyone who would get 2 cancers to beat them, it would be her. Anyway, I'm the sole person to go to all of her doctor's appointments. Mind you, we're right in the peak of the pandemic. Luckily, a lot of doctor's offices and oncologists were able to see her so quickly because people were not going to the doctor and checking for cancer in that time. So it was kind of like a blessing in a sense that it happened when it did because we weren't waiting for anything. If we needed an appointment, it was happening so quickly. However, I remember being at the doctor's for breast cancer and her saying it's a lot worse than, you know, what we thought it was. And it's actually a lot bigger of a deal. And that it's probably gonna consume our lives for the next year. And that was June of 2020. We're July now. Yeah, no, they were right. That was probably the lowest I've ever felt in my entire life. You know, to think that you're just on this high and then low and high and low, and it just, nothing felt stable. I felt so out of control of my own life. And I couldn't see my friends or my family and hug them and have them be there for me because of the pandemic. And it's tough. I could tell that a lot of my friends didn't know what to say to me. I could tell they didn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to say to me or wouldn't know what to do. I found myself feeling isolated because I was isolating myself because I just didn't want to talk about what was going on. I just didn't want to talk at all. And all I wanted to do was just keep working. I just wanted to stay as busy as possible so that I didn't have to think about what was actually going on in my real life. I remember being in the emergency room at 3 in the morning with my family and being concerned about how I was going to put up a video the next day and apologizing on my Instagram stories, being like, so sorry guys, something came up, like I promise the video will come out later. Thinking about how can I be present for all of these separate different hats in my life, except I was not present for myself. Surgeries came and went. The one last big surgery was coming up and I decided to let you guys know what was going on in my life recently, obviously with permission from my mom and, you know, sharing kind of her story. And I remember feeling so much love that day because it was a long surgery. I had to go home and just kind of sit with my thoughts for hours and reading your comments, reading your DMs, saying encouraging words and, you know, how your family has overcome it. It meant so much more to me and made those 6, 7, 8 hours passing so much easier. And so for that, I'm so grateful because it's insane that I could create this community in such a fucked up time. Everything went smoothly. We were on the right track to her health. There was still like a lot of uncertainties and things that we still needed to figure out and future treatment and everything, but it seemed like we were in this massive clear for a little bit. And so then in August, we found out that chemo was the route that we would have to go through to just make sure that she is 100% cancer-free. And I've never known someone who had gone through chemo. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to work with it. I literally was coming into this entire situation completely blindsided and unaware. And once again, I did the only thing that I knew best, and that was overworking myself to make all of my stresses in my head go away. I wanted to drown it all out by making myself so busy that it was impossible for me to have any other thoughts. No thoughts had empty, just work. It got so far that I went to an astrologer, and you know, you have your own thoughts and beliefs, but I went to an astrologer to just try and, you know, help me spiritually. And I remember the one big thing that she said to me that I took with myself is to try not to lose myself within this time and to accept help. I didn't listen, and I did completely lose myself. The school semester started again. I needed an internship to graduate. I was about to graduate that December, so it was my last semester of college ever. I decided to back out of my apartment in Philadelphia to stay home with my mom during chemotherapy. I was YouTubing it up full time, 2 times a week, as well as a podcast, and being a caregiver to my sick mom. Anyway, this whole entire story ends in a happy ending. Chemotherapy ended in December, cancer-free. She's doing great. She's getting really, really healthy again, gardening again. She got a vaccine. She's able to see her friends again. Things are getting so much better. Things are already so much better. However, I don't remember the last year of my life. Someone snapped their fingers and then placed me here in July because I can't process that that was a year ago. And I also think I did a really good job at overworking myself so much to the point that I skimmed past the last year. Before I get into the advice, I just want to mention that this video is sponsored by Audible. Hi! Okay, thank you so much Audible for sponsoring today's video. If you didn't know, Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment all in one place. At Audible, you can find the largest selection of audiobooks, bestsellers, new releases, motivation, podcasts, you name it, it's on there. As an Audible member, you'll get 1 credit every single month, and it's good for any title in their entire premium selection. You'll also get access to their popular Plus catalog, thousands of audiobooks, original entertainment, guided fitness, meditation, sleep tracks, and these are all included in your membership so you can stream all you want, no credits needed. The Audible app can also be downloaded on all smartphones and tablets, so you'll never lose your spot. I talk a lot about anxiety and how I've been coping with a lot of things going on in my life recently, and something that's really helped is audiobooks. My new favorite thing is that when I'm on a long drive home, I want to listen to an audiobook so I can keep my eyes on the road. So Audible is perfect for that. I just finished Beach Read by Emily Henry, currently finishing up The Unhoneymooners by Christina and Lauren. Clearly I have a thing for romance and summer. Check those two out on Audible if you haven't already. To join Audible, just go to audible.com/Nicole Rafiee or text Nicole Rafiee to 500-500 so that you can get your audiobooking on. All right. Okay, back to the video. Here's the main things that I wish I would have known. And some of these may be obvious, but go to all of the doctor's appointments if you can and if you're that person as someone. First of all, going to cancer appointments alone is scary enough as it is. But to be that support system, even just going, driving that person, it makes such a difference. We're now a year later and now they're just checkup appointments, and I still don't miss a visit if I can because I can see how important it is for everyone involved. And peace and love, Mom, because I know you're probably gonna watch this video. With all peace and love, your family members who are going through the cancer probably are not retaining all the information that they're hearing, and they will probably misconstrue it and hear something completely different. So it's nice to have 2 set of ears. Because when you're in that panic state and you're just listening to what the doctors are saying, it's terrifying. I now hate going to the doctors, and I never feared that before. So I can only imagine what that's like for someone who's actually going through the illness. For you yourself, who is, you know, helping, being a caregiver, a caretaker, go to therapy if you can, okay? I should have gone to therapy. Whether your school provides it, because a lot of schools provide it, maybe it's not the most crazy and best therapy that you'll ever receive in your life, but to have someone to talk to every week or every other week, it will make the world of a difference, because I would just bottle things up and I would occasionally tell some of the people around me, but I wouldn't ever share my full-on thoughts for straight up an hour, and I needed that so bad. So if you're able to go to therapy, if that's something that your insurance covers or that you can afford or your family can afford or you're going to school, if that's something that is an option for you, please take advantage of it. Please do it, because I am now a year later and I'm reaping the consequences of not going back then. Another tip is to try and stay your own person as much as possible. Like I said, I completely lost myself. I'm currently in the process of picking up the pieces and relearning who I am again, if you guys haven't noticed. I have completely lost who I am as a human being because I try to wear all these silly little hats, some that were more important than others, but I tried to do all of them except the one that was like, "Hi Nicole, this one is yourself." And I just threw that hat away. I just didn't even wear it. I made my whole life and my personality what I did rather than who I am. If you have hobbies, stick with them. Even if you have to do them less in the week, stick with them. But did I go hiking? Did I play the guitar? Did I read a book every now and again? Did I paint? No. And so now here I am, a year later at 21, trying to figure out who I am again, what I enjoy, taking a lot of time to myself. Being a caretaker, being a caregiver, it takes a lot out of you because someone is so dependent on you and you being there for them, but you have to show up and be there for yourself. My next tip is that if that person who has cancer in your life is going through chemotherapy, do research prior on how chemo is gonna affect them. I did no research. I went into everything just blindsided, and I didn't want to do any research because I didn't want to expect the absolute worst. But a lot of times at oncologists, they will usually have like social workers there who are there for the family, and they gave their business card on the very first day and being like, "Contact me if you have any questions or if you want to talk." I never ever called them, ever. And I should have. To just get a grasp at what was going to happen to my family when my mom started chemo. Chemo changes your personality. Chemo changes you as a person entirely while that person is going through it and even a little bit after. And so I wish that I had done more research. I wish that I would have talked to more people. I wish that I would have had a better grasp at that so that I could have been better to myself, but I could also be better to my mom so that I could, you know, try and understand where she was coming from, because the person going through it barely understands what's going on. Not that they're incompetent, but it's such a drastic change. Your body's literally taking in toxins. And my last tip is to quit things and take off from things. I know that seems ironic since I just said don't quit your hobbies, but take off from things if you can. Such as, should I have been doing 2 videos a week? Should I have been doing a podcast? Perhaps I would have been better off if I just wouldn't have worn all of the hats. I think I would have been okay just wearing a couple hats at a time. If you made plans with your friends, if you just don't want to go because you want to spend time alone because it's your one time alone that you'll have for a long time, take off. If you're able to take off a couple days from work so that you can just be there for yourself and show up for yourself, do it. I can't emphasize how important it is to just not be overworking yourself so much to the point where your mind is like slushy. My little brain is like 7-Eleven slushy, blue raspberry. And now I'm gonna talk about how my mom's cancer has affected me now today. First of all, I'm so much more of a grateful person for the life that I live and for the life that my family lives, because I wake up every single day remembering that things could have been a whole lot different. Count my blessings. I am a lot more grateful to the universe. I am just so much more appreciative of a person than I used to be because I didn't realize how much truly was at stake up until that point. I've experienced feeling the lowest of the low that I've ever felt before, like the world took me by the shoulders and was like, I'm going to ruin your life. And so now, looking back, I can be a whole lot grateful that I'm not in that situation right now, because somehow I have survived 100% of my bad days. I never thought I'd be using a cheesy Pinterest quote, but I just did. And like I said before, I don't remember the last year of my life. That could be a mix of the pandemic, mix of cancer, mix of everything, but I have a really, really hard time remembering what happened last year. I look back at videos from last year and I don't remember filming them. I don't remember editing them. I don't remember uploading them. I don't even recognize that person anymore because I feel like I was never her. I'm playing a lot of catch up right now in my life where, like I said, I'm just enjoying things. I'm trying to find myself again. I've been going on a lot of hikes. I've been going on a trip like every single weekend. I'm just trying to escape my house, to try and do something fun and have new experiences. And it's almost like I'm trying to make it up to my past self for not remembering the last year of my life and kind of, you know, scrapping it, throwing it in the trash. And so I'm trying to show up for myself now because I didn't show up for myself before. I don't know if it's obvious, but I still live at home with my family. I was supposed to move out last August to, you know, go live in Philly when I was still at Temple. And I backed out of that, and then I was supposed to move out in January and then March and then April and then May, and then I'm still here. At first I was really bitter about it because I was like, I can move out at any point that I want, but I'm enjoying— Mom, click away from this video. I'm enjoying being at home. I am liking to be able to take in my healthy mom. I like being able to appreciate that, soak that all in, since I had to see so much of her that was not at her 100%. So it really just like fills my heart up to see her at like 120%. I'm enjoying it for now. I could literally pick up and move tomorrow. I'm not gonna do that, Mom. Don't panic. And one of the biggest things that is helping me right now in this current moment is therapy. I used to go to therapy when I was in college, but that was before my mom's cancer, and now that I'm back in it, it has helped me so significantly, and like I said, I just wish that I had gone before. It's a luxury to even be able to go. My insurance doesn't cover therapy, so I'm paying out of pocket, and I'm very lucky to be able to do so. I've been pretty private in the last year about what's been going on with my family because it is personal, but I did want to let you guys all know how appreciative my family and I are for this YouTube, the community that we've built, because it has been able to help us so much during this time. Financially, it's been able to help us. Cancer's fucking expensive. It's been able to help us so that I could be the caregiver that my family needed me to be. So I just want to thank you guys all for continuing to watch my videos, continue to support me. It means absolute world to me. And thank you if you're watching this video today and you decide to subscribe. If you're a new person on this channel, that means the world to me as well. So I just want to express that because I think about it a lot. I do. Last words for people who are going through it. Just stay strong and keep girl bossing. It's hard and no one will understand it the way that you do. Fruit baskets from edible arrangements will probably not help. It's gonna feel dark and empty for a while. But when it does get better, it gets so much better. And I hope that it gets better for all of you who are going through the same situation, because I know that not everyone is as lucky as my family and I for my mom's health. Fuck cancer! I love you all so much. Thank you for continuing to support me. Thank you for listening to my story. And I hope that maybe this helped someone who has gone through it and can now see someone kind of on the other side who is still working through it, but is significantly better than they were. If you guys like this video, please make sure they leave it a like because it helps me out so much. Also, leave a comment, encouraging words for anyone else who is going through it, because there's definitely gonna be people who need it, because I know how much I needed encouraging words last year. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be nasty. If not, you're disgusting. Also, make sure you have your bell notifications on so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, Twitter, Depop, Spotify, it's just at Nicole Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, it's at Nikki Nasty.
Stay strong and keep girl bossing. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, so someone tried to claim the song that I used for my outro song, even though they don't rightfully own it. Jack Stauber owns it, and they're trying to profit and make money off of it, so they made my videos basically be copyrighted. Essentially, I'm gonna put your ass in jail. I don't know how yet, but I will, and that is copyright fraud. Give Jack Stauber his money. Anyway, deal with this outro for now, guys. I'm so sorry.